I believe if you just typed in the Toad Harbor net, you would come up with Randy's call sign, and I forget Randy's call sign. He's on 1930 just about every night.
Interesting. Okay, I think there's a station in there, but he's very light on me. You guys want to try? Station, give your call.
I don't have a call sign. My amplifier wasn't on. Sorry.
Ah, there you are, Rick. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm about to start a net up 1KC. Could you guys move?
Well, you know what? That would have been more courteous than we got this morning. I might tell you, yeah, we will move for you, Rick.
Dude, we had it happen. I just had the same crap happen to me here a while back, and they were polite about it, so we did move. But I heard you. I've been listening for a bit, and I heard what they did. And, if they're going to be assholes like that, nope, I'm planting right there, and I'm going to tell.
Yep, that's what we did. Me, Art, and Paul. And boy, Paul let him have.
Hello, Rick.
Good evening.
Hello, Rick.
Hello for the listening pub.
So I'm gonna make some flex weave 12 gauge ladder line, Rick, to replace my my duct taped and band-aided setup out there. And I'm trying to figure out, I don't want to cut spacers, but I want, DJ showed me a chart today that the lower in gauge you go, the further apart you gotta be. So my 14 gauge out there is about 4 inches, and that's like 570 ohms. But at 12 gauge, 4 inches is under 500. So I want to get something 5 to 6. I'm just trying to think what I could buy that's already pre-cut.
Okay, look at the signal there. I posted the link to the Toad Harbor feed line.
Real quick, make sure I got it here. When I made mine, I just used oh God, what the hell they call it? Irrigation, like you put sprinklers in your yard. That half-inch black PVC stuff. I just cut it, drill a hole in the end, take a pair of cutters, cut a slot in it, snap the wire in it, you're good to go. That's what all my wire's made out of.
Yeah, and I was trying to avoid having to sit there and cut it. But that might be what I have to do. So yeah, that's what true lateral is. So you drill a hole through it and just snip the end and then just slide the wire through the slip into the hole, right?
Yep, exactly. That's what my whole entire open wire on this antenna is made that way, and it worked out just fine. And 12 gauge is about 6 inches.
Yep, and that's 12 gauge?
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yeah, so right now I have 14 gauge ladder line, I have 12 gauge dipole legs. I've got it, I was telling Scott and DJ, I've got it, I've got a bolt, I've got 2 bolts going through like that sprinkler line stuff at the apex. And I've got the legs bolted to one side and the ladder line bolted to the bottom, and it works. It works fine. But this is before I knew the antenna would work well. And so now that I know it works well, I want to build something a little more unified and permanent.
Oh, I know. Well, that's exactly the same way I was with this one. I wasn't sure. I've had terrible luck with open wire line over the years, and all this audio here, getting my ref into it. I've got it stopped on this setup, but I thought I'm gonna play with it again and try it, and so far it's still working.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the last antenna I was running was a vertical with a tuner at the base of the antenna, remote. And I had RFI issues at that QTH. I got rid of them for the most part, but it took a while. I looked out here. I don't know. I guess it's just because it's so damn far away from the shack, and I'm using the twin coax to get into the shack, and I have no issue.
Yeah, I've got a single going out to a 4-to-1 right outside the house, and then it goes from there up. But part of this thing overhangs the other opposite side of my house from where I'm at, so there's just no way around it. It's a 160 doublet. There's just no way. I lost a good tree that it was in and had to move the west end of it a little bit north, and it put it over the house, so I really didn't have much choice, but I don't ground anything. I refuse, after my lightning hit, I refuse to provide a path to ground through anything in here anymore, ever. It will never happen again. That's a long story, and I'm not going to get into how much that hit destroyed, but there will never be anything grounded in here again, so that does pose problems on audio gear.
Yeah, I have nothing grounded in here. The only thing I have going on in here is I have a dedicated 120 panel just for the shack, and I have a dedicated 240. So I make sure, and then I use filtered surge protectors for audio. So all my audio stuff, all the computers plug into that one. And that all goes to that main 120 outlet. And then everything else goes to another plug on that 120. And then I've got the amp on the 240. So I'm just worried about ground loops, so I did that. So everything's getting the same, it's going to ground the same way through the electrical. And the only ground I have is I have a lightning arrestor at the junction box where the ladder line is. That's it. And that's away from, and there's a ground rod there. That's just a static buildup though.
Yep, same thing. I've got a static arrestor built up right at the ballon, and that's it. But I've got a dedicated 60 amp sub panel in this room with a disconnect on it. So if I pull the disconnect, it kills all three lines, all the neutral and both faces. So everything in here is completely isolated. There's not one single piece of equipment in here plugged into an outlet in this room. It's for the house wiring.
The only issue I have is because I'm doing the twin coax and I treat it like ladder line, the way it's connected to the balance tuner, I don't have a quick disconnect. So I've found myself where in the past, if it was a rainy, humid night like it is here on Long Island right now, it's 50 degrees and foggy. There's no lightning in the forecast, but it could pop up at any time. I probably would just unscrew my coax. Now I find myself doing it less because it's a 5-minute job instead of a 5-second job. So I think in the garage I gotta cut the coax and put a Frankenstein switch. That's probably the best thing to do.
DJ, you don't have any disconnects on yours, do you?
No, I have to go out to the post because of the ballon, so I can just easily unscrew the coax, the PL259 there at the bottom of the post, or at the bottom of the end of the 4-to-1 ballon. And then on my other, with the beam, I have Array Solutions, one of those little arresters on a ground rod there. So I just have to unscrew the barrel connector there to PL259 from it, and I just hang it down to the ground. So that's all I do for both. So it's very, very easy. Now in the house, in the shack here, I have a copper plate that's grounded outside, and I have connectors, barrel connectors there. So I can also unhook it in the shack here, but I prefer just to go outside and just unhook it from there, which is very easy. I got a pair of pliers in the shed, so I just grab them and just go and do both of them, and just takes a few minutes.
Yeah, it's funny right now because all the crap that I used to have coming in here, I've got one piece of 7/8 and 2 coaxes coming in the shack right now, and that's it. That's all I got. It takes me about 35 or 40 seconds to unhook everything.
Yeah, well, I got to figure something out because that's the best way to prevent damage is to make sure there's no friggin' line to your equipment. And right now I'm hard bolted in.
That's why I got, because before the way I had to get the step ladder to reach up there to unhook the coax from the 4-to-1 ballon. And now I've got it, so it's more convenient. I can just go out there and right at ground level, just pretty well at my stomach level. So I just bend down and unscrew it, and I'm done.
It sucks too, because my grounding system is all still intact out there. I mean, when it blew the copper strap off the tower, and also to the grounding plate in here when that happened. But all those ground rods and all that mesh and all that entire system is still intact out there. I can't do it. I just can't. That is a miracle it didn't burn my house down when that happened.
Did it destroyed everything in the shack? Did it? And did it destroy stuff in the other rooms of the house?
I'll make it quick. Not one single thing in my house that had a cord on it or was hooked to AC survived that lightning hit. It welded the thrust bearing together on the tower. It blew 2-inch or 1.75 copper strap apart that came off the tower into there's 6 ground rods out there spaced apart and CAD welded 4-gauge solid perimeter mesh around the house. The rods are bonded. There was a copper bus bar in here with polyphasers on it with all the feed lines. Blew those apart. There's still drywall, dents in the drywall to this day from where that blew up. Blew the sides out of 2 pieces of 7/8 LDF. But yeah, not one single thing in this house, and I'm talking light bulbs, it destroyed everything in my house.
Wow, holy crap. Now, you're saying even if your coax was disconnected because of the ground, you probably would have had the same result?
I may not have, probably, but here again, there was so much bonding involved. Everything was bonded to everything else. So once it got down there, I said, it was a big enough hit. Like I said, I got a crank-up, or had a crank-up tower. I still have it. It's just not up right now. I had trouble getting it loose. But yeah, it completely welded that thrust bearing at the top. It wouldn't even turn. But I said, there was 1.75 by 40 thousandths copper strap coming off of that tower to that grounding system also in here. And I'm serious, it blew it apart like a fuse.
Wow, unbelievable. And another question. Did your insurance company know you had a tower?
Yes, they did. And it was a $130,000 insurance claim in 2001. So picture that in today's money.
Wow. Did they give you a hard time at all because of the tower, or they knew it and they had to pay?
No, they actually didn't. They refused to fix a couple of pieces of my test equipment because they were considered commercial use only. But no, they actually allowed me to fix things and build them for them because I told them, I said, some of this stuff's custom built. I said, I've designed and built some of this equipment. Some of it's modified, blah, blah, blah. And my insurance agent knew me personally and was out here and knew this, and they saw it. And they're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. And I said, well, here's the deal. Do a lot, the equipment part of it in here, I'll take care of. The rest of it, I'll get contractors in here to do it, the electrical and, that kind of stuff. But, no, they were actually pretty good about it. My service monitor, my spectrum analyzer, they would not fix. That service monitor was $13,000 new. That did kind of hurt a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Did you have to have the whole house rewired?
Some of it, not all of it. I'm sure there's probably still damage someplace, but every outlet pretty much, most of the switches, and I've since switched them anyway because I switched over the rockers here a few years ago. Service panel had to be replaced. Obviously, the electrical meter had to be replaced because it was a smart meter, blew it up. There's a lot of wiring in here still intact. There was a handful right in this room that had to be redone because it just arced so bad at the outlets that there was nothing left of it.
Wow, it's scary shit. It really, really is. I remember DJ got hit and Frank in Jersey. Well, who got hit first, DJ? You or Frank?
Frank got hit worse than I did. His glasses that were on his desk got arc marks on them. And a week later is when I got hit. But mine I think just came through the coax, and it was just a surge of some sort. So mine wasn't really as bad as his anon was toast. Mine was fixable. My AT2KD, the power of the meter, had to replace. A computer was toast. The other one, the network card, replaced. And the Yaesu rotor control box was on high all the time. He was variable speed, but he couldn't do anything with it. Allstate was really good. If I knew then what I know now, I would have approached it a little bit differently. But it turned out okay. I was lucky with that I didn't have to replace the radio. If I had to replace the radio, then I would have been screwed. But it worked out okay.
Yeah, it's just scary stuff. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Well, Rick, good to hear you. Scott, DJ, good to speak with you as usual. I'm gonna go wind down. I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. I've been off of it for 2 months. I'm going back. I get up at 5:30. I get to the gym around. No, I get up at 5. I get to the gym around 5:50. I work out till 6:30. I go in the sauna, I take a shower, I get dressed, and I'm at my office by 7 a.m. And I usually feel better after the second day. Tomorrow will be rough, but that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So say 73 to you guys. DJ, I'm going to go watch this video. I'm assuming he tells you what those spacers are, right?
I looked at it and they didn't, but I know they talked about it before. So, and I think they got them from TSC. Scott, can you verify that? Aren't those the spacers that they use for fencing and that?
I think so.
So TSC would have them.
Those are the ones I had ordered, and they only make them 4 inches.
Then do what? Get PVC or waterline pipe.
Yep, I guess that'll be phase 1 of the project. Cutting the pipe. Oh boy, cutting and drilling and nipping. We'll figure it out. All right, guys, 73. Have a beautiful week. I'll talk to you tomorrow. KB2, UK clear.
Yeah, Doug 73 Doug. Hey, Doug, check. I just posted a picture on Signal for a push-on PL259. You might want to entertain it.
I've used those.
And Doug.
Yeah, I have to look at this, Scott, because remember, my shield is to ground. I'm just using the center conductor, but I might be able to do that with this.
And Doug, when you watch the video, you get the idea. You can make your own spacers, but how he attaches it is very simple, and that's the way I would do it. And I think maybe that's how Art does it. But you watch that, then you'll understand. You can make your own spacers, whatever length you want, and then use the tie straps. And when you see how he does it, it's very simple.
Yep, and that is how Art does it. It looks like a good way to do it. If I'm going to do it that way, then I don't need to drill and snip the end of the tubing. All right, I'll figure it out. So anyway, I'm gonna get the rope over the 80-foot tree one day this week. I'm gonna pull my center up, and then over the winter I'm gonna build the new antenna, and I'll go out there once it's done. I'm gonna take my time. There's no rush. I've got a working antenna. 73 guys, KB2 UK.
73 Doug.
7.
Yeah, see you, Doug. Take care and enjoy. I wish you guys didn't use that damn Sigo crap. I'd like to see that. But, and by the way, DJ, have you priced zip ties lately?
Yeah, I went through a bunch of them with the snow fence here for the chickens, so I got them at Prout's Lumber in town here, and yeah, they, Rick, no matter what it is, everything's tripled in price.
Oh, I know. God, they're horrible, and I use a crap ton of them, too, so. So when you guys said you about zip tying it to the space, I thought, oh, God, you'd have more money in zip ties than you would anything else.
Pretty much. So do you know about the app Signal?
Yeah, I do know about it, but it won't run on a Windows box by itself, and I'm not putting crap on my phone, because I can't stand to be on my phone.
Okay.
I'm still here. I run it on Windows.
Phone, then you can put it on your desktop.
I'm picky about that, DJ. I said, and it works good on an iPhone, but it's not as good on Android.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, but it's what the police here in Ontario use because it's secure.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna refill my beverage here real quick. I'll be right back in 9 each other.
Okay. So did you smoke that lamb on your smoker, Scott?
No, actually, when I got the lamb, it was sent to Whalen Meats in Petrolia, and they smoked the legs for me.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're good there.
Yeah, it's about 10 years ago now. He started the smokehouse again, smoking his own bacon, and he does legs of lambs for me, or he'll do a ham for you too. But yeah, so when I got rid of the sheep in 2014, I think it was. Or 13 or something like that, and I had 14 or 16. I think it was 16. Yeah, when I had the 16. Yeah, because I started with Julie then. Yeah, so in 16 when I had my last lamb, or 15 when I had the last lamb slaughtered, he was he dressed. I forget what he dressed. Live weight, he was over 200 pounds. But the legs, I had them boned, rolled, and smoked. And so I got 2 9-pound legs out of that. And that's naturally smoked. So yeah, that was good stuff.
Interesting, yeah. Oh, good.
But yeah, the only difference between it and a ham is it has a slightly coarser taste, and then so it's almost like you're eating beef, but it's smoked. And then if you smell the fat, you'll know it's lamb because the fat has a different smell to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what we had there at Ben Miller at the reception, but I don't know. I know it was lamb, but that's about all I can tell.
It'd probably be rack of lamb or some type of lamb chop.
Might have been lamb chop, yeah.
Yeah, and the lamb chops they gave you, the loin was the size of a toonie, let's say the size of a quarter at the best.
It wasn't very big, but I don't remember how it tasted. I guess it was okay, but all I remember there was a lot of wine was flowing.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Scott, you know you got a little hit of RF on her.
I got a little hit of RF? Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. Have you got a bunch of reverb in there?
Oh, it could be my reverb acting up. Not a whole lot, but I can turn it off if you want.
No, you're okay. I'm so used to hearing that with, SDRs and people getting that. And for a second, I kind of thought it was. Earlier, I thought I heard a little bit of distortion in it, but maybe it was just a bad.
Yeah, I do have a reverb plug-in going with the software, so I can turn it off.
I like it a little bit. It's there. I mean, it's very noticeable. It kind of had that sound, but no, don't worry about it. Now that I'm listening to it a little bit more, I was incorrect on that, so ignore what I said.
It's got a little crackle, Scott.
Oh, Lord knows.
See, now there I heard it.
Now, sometimes when I use my headphones, I get it a little bit, because I do get backtrack in my headphones.
Yeah, it's hit and miss. It doesn't do it every time, but like DJ said, there's just a little crack in there once in a while, which is kind of, the typical, you know how they are, how SDRs are. They get a little bit in there, or, any modern radio.
Of course. And then it's one of those nights where it's foggy and it's been raining all day, so probably my wire nuts up on top of the ladder line are a little wet.
Oh, you guys got it up there too. It's been like that all freaking weekend down here. It's just been gloomy and gray and misty, raining and just junk.
Same here.
Yeah, it started raining there, about 11 o'clock this morning here in town, and it just poured all afternoon. Like, I got soaked moving sheep today.
Yeah, VA3 KBC bottom of the hour.
VA3 PSN.
Nice tune-up. Thank you for Auto Notch Show.
That manual notch filter, that is the new update Richie's done, that works really well too.
Oh, I know, DJ, and I use that quite a bit because especially if I'm on 6 or 10, actually even on 20 a little bit, I've got my internet radio, the wireless part of my internet radio, the RF part of it, generates birdies, and I need to get the cable, the Ethernet cable changed out off with some shielded stuff because they didn't do that. And, you know, sometimes a pair of those birdies are laying right in my pass band, and I just stick a couple of notches on them, and boom, gone. Works like a charm.
Yep. Yeah, my Flex didn't work at all. It was a piece of junk. The ICOM 756 Pro 3, it worked really great, but the Flex 6300 was useless.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say. I mean, even going clear back into the Power SDR days on, you know, the Anons, I mean, the manual notch filters have always worked really nice. And Scott, by the way, yes, I've used those, and you know, you got to be careful with them because they get loose.
Yeah, look, nice thing about the one I just found here, it screws onto the end of a standard PL259, so if it does gets loose from being used all the time, you can, you know, throw it away and go.
Yeah, I used to use them on the bench a lot when I still was doing a lot of radio work, repair work, so made it really handy.
Now, I was just thinking if you didn't want to use the outer, like Doug was worried about the outer portion being still there, you could actually take a Dremel and zip that all off and then glue say a little fiber washer in its place to segregate all that metal housing away from the center conductor, and then you can just push it in and then make up a plastic type or wood block that would hold it together, and then you could just separate it when you want to.
Yeah, or, I mean, you know, even beyond that, I mean, you could leave that so it's still got the retention on it. And, you know, bring it back at the feed line for it. Just don't run the shield into the connector when you solder. Just run the center conductor in it. And, because the shields, when they do the double coax, are tied together to ground, so, you know, you could tie them together, tie the braids together outside of the connector, and then, you know, boom, done. Good to go.
Well, that's true, too.
It's doable, and like I said, it's a quick, easy solution to get that out of the way. I don't know that I'd cut the outer finger because that's going to, you know, you're dependent on the center pin at that point to hold it. And we all know that, you know, those are not all sometimes the best of the rules.
Oh yeah, true. Like I wouldn't use that to support the cable going into the whatever you're like going into your Ballon or whatever. I probably have it as an either like you run a jumper from your Ballon to that, and I know that adds a little bit of loss, but then you're not having that cable straining on the connector.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, that would work. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but and see, that's why I just refuse to bring open wire in the house anymore. That's why I've got Ballons outside. I said I'm just too scared. You know, and like I said, you know, that was, God, what, 22 years ago that happened. And I'm still jumpy about it to this very day. You know, I've had 4 on-property lightning hits here. It's got a couple of trees, got power pole once, and my tower. And I'm, you know, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's not much room. I got a crap ton of tall trees, so it's just inviting it.
Yeah, and if your tower is any you know, the highest point in the area, of course it's going to get nailed.
And yeah, it was probably trees are. most of the trees are in the 60 to 70-ish foot range. It's always. My tower was the top antenna, actually the one that got hit.
What are you using for a receiver? So you built your transmitter. What are you using for a receiver? Some sort of an SDR unit, or what do you have there?
Before he signs off, Steve.
All right, yeah, I'll give it right over to you. Yes, Dale, I'm using a Flex 5000. I got it used. Bought it at the Marlboro flea market. So I'm using a Flex 5000 as the receiver and the VFO here. It's perfect because you can remote control it. So because I'm remote controlling the whole station. So yeah, I'm using the Flex 5000 as the receiver and the VFO. So my friend Art is in there. I'm going to turn it right over to him because I think he wants to say hello to you before you run off. Go ahead there, Art. NF1A. This is WA1QIX, and the other station is Dale. That's Whiskey Victor 1 Zebra. Go ahead, Art.
Hi, Dale. This is Art, NF1A, and hi, Steve. Dale, am I making the trip up there to Maine okay?
Yeah, you have a nice clean audio, and you're probably about a 10 over S9 or so on the old heligraphers. Sounds good. Good sound station.
Okay. Ironically, I'm running one of the rigs you have in your picture, but it's not the AM. It's a stock stock Yaesu FT1000 Mark V field. But I've got some outboard processing and amplification. You want a sign, so I was listening to your whole conversation with interest about do you get involved with the trucks that have the jaws that pick up the canisters? Well, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we have both, but we've got roll-offs with the roll-off cans, and we've got actual package too.
My town switched over to those exclusively a few years ago, and I'm wondering how high a maintenance item those things are, because they seem to, I try to follow the rules and not put stuff that you're not, but I can imagine some people could put some pretty heavy things in those canisters. I hope they're over-designed. Go ahead.
Well, they are, but they're not. I've got a complete metal fabrication shop that I run also with guys in there, and they pretty much repair cans and roll-off cans and, welding, and we actually build our own Fiat dumpsters, which are residential cans. We built over 1,000 of them in the last 2 years. We've got a pretty good size shop set up for that, so it's a full-time job, just keeping the cans and keeping the dumpsters and all that kind of stuff together. Because people don't care what they throw. Big pieces of cement, stone, automotive parts, and engines. And it doesn't seem to really have any rhyme or reason. They'll just put about anything in there. It doesn't matter what you tell them. You tell them not to put it in there. It's almost like they want to do it then.
Okay. Thanks. Well, I know you want to go, so I won't hang you up. I'm from a totally different industry, probably more closely related to what Steve. I've been involved in RF and radio for 40 years, and 66. I'm still working, and I manage about a 4,000 square foot RF or a product verification lab that has my own RF lab in it. So I'm still working, but I did, as a teenager, Steve, I did have a job that more closely resembled your dump or whatever it was, your transfer station job. I worked in I know Dale wants a sign, so I'll turn it back to Dale, and I could tell you about that job. Go ahead, Dale.
Yeah, I was curious as to where you were located. I'm not right in front of my computer to look you up on the Z, but I was kind of curious as to where you're located.
Billerica, Mass. And the job I had, it was a summer job between college. Actually, when I was going to school, the same school Steve did. I had a summer job. My dad was a plumber, so he got me a job at one